Hey guys, welcome to the reality room review with myself, Mo. I hope you guys are having an awesome day. It's Friday, and it's payday for some people. But yeah, hopefully all of you are having a great day. All I can say is that the past couple of days have been interesting. Adv Johnson gave her testimony for a good 6 days at the Madlanga Commission. And yeah, to a point where she started getting a bit more irritated and wanted to actually end her testimony a bit earlier. I do believe that there are things that needed to still be covered by the commission, but they did the best that they could do. And it seems as if with yesterday's testimony by Advocate Ramsamy that Adv Johnson might be recalled to the commission again to give testimony because, according to Advocate Ramsamy, she hoodwinked the commissioners during her testimony. And even though, just like Judge Matlanga, I do disagree with the word hoodwinked. It's very strong. I'd say I'd leave it at misleading. She misled the commission in her testimony, and which is pretty much the reason why that Advocate Ramsamy was at the commission, was called to the commission, because she had a lot of explaining to do since her former boss could not explain and instead scapegoated her and scapegoated Advocate Rapesu as well in some of the decisions that she made and some of the evidence that was presented and so forth. But it seems as if all of that has come back to bite Adv Johnson in the kahunas. I know she doesn't have them, but guys, it has come back to bite her. She dug herself an even bigger hole by doing what she did. I don't know what she was thinking. Like, I think there's a point in time when your own arrogance as a boss or as somebody who has subordinates, where you are so emboldened to do and to say whatever it is that you want to say with no consequence, that you think that you are always going to get away with it. And that's exactly what she did. She didn't think that her own people, the people that she did mistreat who worked under her, would tell their own story and would be honest in their own story, And this is just me saying it right now. I'm yet to be proven whether or not Advocate Ramsamy is correct and is right throughout. But in any case, but for now, for the word and everything else that she has said at the commission, we did notice, a lot of us did notice the fact that Adv Johnson refused to take accountability, and she placed blame on her investigators. She placed blame on the team that she had put up. She placed blame on almost everybody else but herself. So with Advocate Ramsamy's testimony, there are a couple of things that I actually did take away from it. And the first one being how Advocate Johnson was running IDAC. How everything was based off of her own feelings as opposed to how things are to be done, how procedures are taken, and how IDAC actually prosecutes things, how IDAC reviews cases and so forth. So yes, there was an abuse of power when coming to Advocate Johnson and how she actually ran things. She was accountable for a lot of things. There are a lot of things that she did that she refused to actually take accountability for. So a lot of the blame was actually placed on Advocate Ramsamy and all the other people. I'd also say even Dylan Paramal as well, to a certain extent, even though I feel with Dylan Paramal, he had an agenda. And that's the reason why he was able to persuade. I'm not going to say even manipulate. He was able to persuade Advocate Johnson to see things the way that he saw them and to do things the way that he wanted them to be done. He would be able to justify how things should be done to Advocate Johnson. And that's the reason why she ended up ignoring what procedure is, the procedures that she was supposed to take. And that's why she was able to even dismiss and be dismissive of Advocate Ramsamy and all the other people who were around who were actually telling her, like, but shouldn't it be done this way? Or actually quote and actually say, but no, but the section dictates that things should be done this way, and in particular, she talked about Section 27 and Section 28 as well, when coming to the investigations, that Advocate Johnson was not following the law and how things ought to be done. And that's one of the things to actually notice it, and it showed. I think it also showed to the commissioners as well that it's not necessarily that she was incompetent or that she didn't know or that she didn't recall anything. It's the fact that she knew but decided to bypass things. She knew but decided that, how she does things is law and it's what's supposed to be done and it's how it's supposed to be done. The second thing is also the influence, like I mentioned earlier, the influence that Dylan Paramel had in Advocate Johnson. At first, when I heard her testimony, I thought that when coming to the investigations within crime intelligence with the case that were regarding General Khumalo, I felt like, okay, Khan is somebody who has also influenced her in terms of that case. But it also seems as though that even Paramel as well, and I'd be very interested to actually know the kind of relationship that Dylan Paramel and Feroz Khan actually do have. Because he did a lot. Dylan Paramel did a lot to help General Khan's cause, when coming to those investigations, when coming to targeting General Khumalo and General Masamula. He played a very big role in IDAC, charging General Khumalo. And so I'd be very interested when he gives testimony. I'd be very interested to kind of know the kind of relationship how far and how extensive the relationship between Paramel and, okay, we've had Brian Padiache as well, where he also is somebody who played down, I guess, the kind of relationship that he had. But right now with Johnson, Advocate Johnson, as well as Colonel Padiachi having taken or haven't done their testimonies, a lot more questions are going to arise when Dylan Paramel actually comes to the commission, when he gets but in her testimony, she did a lot to put him under the bus as well, and it wasn't intentional. I don't think that it was intentional in any case, but it has worked out. It has worked against Advocate Paramel. And the next thing that I also noticed was also Shamila Batoy and also her relationship as well with Advocate Johnson, and the fact that, in her eyes, in Advocate Ramsamy, from her perspective, from what she saw, is that Advocate Johnson could not do anything wrong. She was the golden child. She was Shamila Batoy's golden child. So therefore, that's the reason why she could get away with the things that she was doing. She could get away with everything that she was doing at IDAC. So therefore, it became pointless and it became useless to try to report her or to try to report anything that she does wrong to Advocate Batoy as well. And that is very disheartening to actually know that so many people at IDAC have been suffering for so many years in the tenure of these two ladies. And it is sad. It is sad to think about that. I honestly do sympathize with all the employees, with the people who are still working there and the people who have left, because what Advocate Ramsamy described just showed how much people are willing to use the power that they actually hold, and they will wield it and they will use it. And for them, this is a little bit of justice that they're actually getting, right? Another thing also that Advocate Ramsamy spoke about was with Fadil Adams. And
one of the
Fadil
things
Adams,
she spoke about
affidavit
was with,
and I guess
in terms
him
of Fadil
also
Adams
asking
and
or
his,
probing his affidavit when they went
with the
on
affidavit that he
to
actually
interview him,
sent them,
because they had a conversation
and
with
him
talking
in-
about
in
the
Cape Town.
files. And one of the things
The
that she
docket, or rather
actually
the
spoke
files
about
that
was the
were
fact that she
that was sent
did
to him
tell,
that were
Fadil
shoved
Adams
under his
that it was illegal
under
for
his,
him to have
under
had
his
those
his
confidential
door
documents
documents
as
with him.
well, and
And that
yeah,
she did
that
explain
was-
to him
that
that
was
how
quite
this could
interesting.
actually legally affect him. And I think Fadil Adams actually took that very, very lightly, because he saw himself more as a whistleblower. And also, I guess we all don't, we're all not buying the story, the fact that the information was sent to him or was shoved under his door at the offices in Parliament. Nobody is really buying that. A lot of people are actually saying, like, no, you met with these people, that's what they told you to say, and they showed you the file. And the worst part about it, he's like, no, I have copies, I've made copies. So you've made copies of these classified, quote unquote, classified information, that you were not even supposed to have, in as much as you are a politician and a member of parliament. But that information you were not necessarily supposed to have. And I guess her also having to explain the fact that he had those files for a long time, I think for approximately 2 months, if I'm not mistaken. He had those classified information for 2 months, and in that 2 months, like, what did you do with it? So that makes it very, very suspicious. And that's part of the reason why Fadil Adams will probably end up being called to the commission to also make his own his own testimony, because there's a lot. I mean, already even Commissioner Kumalo is also flighting questions that they need to probe to him. So he is. I saw his rant. I saw Fadil Adams' rant, and he will end up testifying as well at the commission, and he will most likely, like, charges are, he will be charged. He will be charged. The poor man was used. That's another thing that I actually do wanna delve into a little bit. Yeah, because I feel like Fadil Adams has been very naive in his outlook, and he is very stubborn, and he's very stuck in his ways, and it's gonna get him into a lot of trouble. But with that said, guys, that is it. That is a little bit of my little rant. I just want to leave you guys with Adv Johnson and the part that actually made me laugh out loud. It's a treat for all of you. You all saw it. If you've seen it, you've seen it. But in any case, let me just leave you with the part of the whole testimony yesterday that actually made me laugh out loud. With that said, like, subscribe, guys. Come back again if you actually liked what I had to say. But with that said, guys, here's Adv Johnson taking it out, my outro. Bye. I will delve into it, and we'll speak on it, because I feel like Fadil Adams is oh gosh, he's an interesting case, and it is sad. It is sad to say the least.
But yeah.
Sorry, but they asked me for the name of every person who's dealt with the matter.
No, it's fine. I don't even know what's happening. I'll be very honest with you. I stopped watching because we are so busy with preparation for blue lights that I just don't have the time to listen.
Yes, I know much because it will really, if they call you, you leave the country.
Okay. Oh God. Okay.
It's not what you know.
Okay. No.
I didn't know Section 28. I didn't know Section 27. I know nothing. I was dumb as two bricks.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. But it's okay because, you know what? Whether we like it or not, they're going to make our names shut anyway because you can just see, especially when, remember he's a judge. For him to make a comment, this is basic law 101. I'm surprised you don't know it with your 30 years experience.
Oh, I don't even know what to say to that.
Exactly. And he makes faces, they laugh with each other while you're still answering. It's so unprofessional.
Yeah, no, I don't want to go there.
Yeah. We'll see what we're all going to do, but it's just going to be a shit show. But I'm going to talk to Vivian quickly.
Okay, but